Julia.
I recently completed my first full playthrough of Zelda 2. I had played this game many times before, here and there. In fact, this game includes a few of my earliest memories as a young gamer. However, I'd be lying if I said those memories were fond. The blood red game over screen has been burned into my memory banks like it was branding me as if I were cattle, which is maybe why it took me so long to give it another earnest effort, but here we are. So what can be said about Zelda 2 that hasn't already been? Maybe nothing, but here's my perspective. Oh, and before I go any further, there are some spoilers contained in this review. Like most games, there are pros and cons. I do like the introduction of RPG elements. Being able to level up your strength, defense, and health as you journey through the game only makes sense in the adventure genre. While there are elements of this in the first Zelda, this game certainly takes it to another level, and I, for one, am grateful. I think the developers knew how difficult this game was going to be, which is why you essentially get unlimited continues. Of course, those continues do come at a price, like having to restart at the main castle or losing all your experience points. Speaking of which, don't get greedy when it comes to leveling up your character, otherwise this may happen. You know what? I'm going to cancel that and I'm going to put up my life. It's only another 500. And then I think my life is maxed after that. One thing I'd like to point out that may get overlooked is the fact that many of the stronger enemies within the palaces don't respawn once defeated, until you either leave the palace or get a game over. For a game labeled as being extremely difficult, which it is at times, and for being a game released in the 80s, I think that is a huge achievement and kudos to the development team for implementing that. Something as small and seemingly insignificant for me shows the dedication of the development team to their craft. It would be much easier to program a game to have the same enemies respawn every time you re-enter the same fight scene, which would no doubt make this game nearly unplayable for an adult, let alone a young kid. Having said that, there are some areas in which the development team could have done better. I wasn't thrilled about the fact that the boss battle difficulty varies drastically throughout the game. The bosses should theoretically get more difficult as the game goes on. Like most games of its time, there are certain patterns you need to uncover in order to defeat the Palace Guardians. Some of these are in-your-face obvious, while others you need an outside-of-the-box sort of approach. Take the Palace 4 Guardian, for instance. I spent many lives and time trying to find the boss's hitbox, only to realize later that unless you had the Reflect spell, this boss is essentially invincible. Which in turn, the Reflect spell makes this boss the easiest boss in the entire game. All in all, I'd say the difficulty of this game for me stems from the lack of knowledge of having not played through it all once before. I've completed this game a second time since my first full playthrough, and I found the second playthrough to be more or less a breeze. Having discovered the proper strategy in defeating the Iron Knuckle enemies my first time through made a world of difference then on. These Iron Warriors appear in every palace pretty much. And knowing where to find all the items helps keep a calm demeanor throughout the game as well. I can't tell you how many hours and lives I wasted trying to find the damn mirror. I'll admit, my struggles with the mirror were mostly my own fault. I had early on for some reason developed the assumption that all town items were found in the surrounding areas. I never thought to actually look within the town itself. Shame on me for sure. But there are other instances where the game just doesn't provide you enough information to properly prepare you for what's to come and how to handle it. Some items like the flute and the candle, you can make your own conclusions, but the glove and hammer are perfect examples. Nowhere in the game does it say what the glove actually does once you obtain it. Only after wielding your sword erratically would you discover that you can now break stones that you couldn't before. And while yes, you can easily assume the hammer destroys the big boulders blocking your path throughout the game, nowhere in the game does it tell you it also cuts down trees. Yes, I did make sure to say in-game, because my advice to anyone before playing this game from here on out is to read the instruction booklet. Having done some research on the game, I stumbled upon the instruction booklet, and wouldn't you know, it pretty much answers all the questions most gamers ask while playing Zelda 2. Shame on me a second time. What was I complaining about? Oh, the glove and hammer? Oh yeah, there it is. How the hell do you hit the Guardian of Palace 4? Oh wait, there it is. Where the hell was that damn mirror? Oh wait, what's this? I need to search within the town? And oh, what a lovely in-game screenshot you're providing here. Ugh. It even explains why Ganon isn't in this game, which is an initial complaint of mine. Speaking of which, the story contained within the instruction booklet is superb. Sure, there are some awkward sentences and some grammar errors, but for a game of the 80s, this instruction booklet and the story contained within is top-notch. Full color, it provides a lengthy backstory and pretty much gives you everything you need to know to succeed in your travels ahead. Other than the spell. They were still really vague regarding the spell, but I digress. In summary, I'd have to give this game a 7 out of 10. It's not a masterpiece, but it's definitely worth playing, especially if you're a Zelda fan. I find you really start to find your appreciation of this game your second time through. I think most people who crap on this game either don't finish it or finished it and threw it to the sidelines only to collect dust. I fully expect to come back to this game time and time again, like I do with many of the other Zelda games. So that's it for this review. What are your thoughts on this game? Did you struggle in any areas your first time through? Has anyone else read through the instruction booklet? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Berchuzzi, for live streams of great games both old and new.